This is for faggots.
Well, hello, what's going on? It's your boy, Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Online, where I pretty much just jump online. Hold on a second, I had to close my phone because I was like, while that overlay was playing, I was a little distracted. But yes, we are here. We're about to get down with the get down. And yes, basically, we're about to do a new episode of Online where I just jump on real quick and talk about some of the interesting things that have played throughout the week. Well, in the past couple, let's say 72 hours. So some of the topics I want to get to really quick is I want to give my review on the brand new premiere of the T.S. Madison Experience. Also, we're going to talk some Pose news and Drag Race Down Under. So, yeah, there's some news that came out about that and all that good stuff. So it's going to be a very gay episode. I'm about to do 2 episodes. Just so y'all know. So, yeah, keep it locked in and all this stuff. Also, for those of you who are watching on my YouTube channel, be sure to click like and subscribe because this is live. So this is happening as you're watching and this is not recorded. So yeah, click like, subscribe down there in the subscribe section and share the video. Let everybody know that you like what you like. So without further ado, let's get into it. So just a couple of, what was it, like maybe an hour ago, I finally got around to watching the T.S. Madison Experience. I saw the 15-minute sneak peek that was released, I think it was like a week ago. And I basically loved everything I saw. I've always been a huge fan of Madison, you know, since her Vine days, 22 inches of weave, you know, all that whole stuff and how many times she went viral and stuff. And over the years, I've always followed everything that she does from, you know, when she was on YouTube until when she did the Queen's Court. And then she went and transformed that into the Queen's Supreme Court. And we got to see a little bit of the whole behind the scenes of how they put that show together on the series premiere of the T.S. Madison Experience. If you guys have not checked it out, definitely look over at WeTV. It comes on every Thursday, I believe at 10 o'clock. I don't remember the exact time. Just look it up, check your local listings. I DVR it, so it's just whatever is up there is there. So what I love is that they titled it Loud, Live, and in Color, which is like one of her catchphrases that she always uses when she comes on the air. And we got to know a lot of the cast members. You know, I did take notes. So including, you know, we got to know Craig and Chi-Chi and Miss Mary, who is like one of my favorites. I love Miss Mary. You know, she's appeared on the show many a times. That is Maddie's mother. Oliver, Miss Sophia. Miss Sophia is hilarious, by the way. And her banter with her and Craig definitely cracked me up in the show. And Allegra, her manager. So what we get to do is when the show opens, we get to know a little bit about Maddie. And we also get to witness how the Queen's Supreme Court is put together, meaning that you get to see all the chairs and you get to see that there's a live audience, and she films it in her basement, and behind her is a green screen, and she has the desk, and she has her celebrity friends come on, and this and that. So we've seen Tiffany New York Pollard on the show, who I had no idea she was a producer until I checked the line of credits at the end. She's a producer of the show, and she makes a couple of appearances, and she basically said to Maddie how proud she is and like how she's her glow up and everything. And I have to say, like, this is a real authentic person within our community who I'm so proud to see that is making something of themselves and really striving to get to the next level and take over the world. She says she is coming for Wendy Williams and Oprah's gig, and I'm with her. Like, I'm hoping that I would love to see, the T.S. Madison experience, her show, everything. I would love to see, her be the first trans Black woman to have their very own talk show. I don't know why we can't have a variety of different people out here with talk shows, especially when, if you look at daytime TV, if you look at late night TV, it's boring. It's the same old, same old. A lot of people saying the same safe stuff, and we're not getting any variety of substance. This is why I pretty much love the internet, because I feel like on the internet, we're getting a lot of what we need, like a different variety of things. You can find anything you want on YouTube and so many other platforms, where if there isn't a platform for you, or you don't see something that resonates with you, you create you create what you want to see. And that's basically what I've done. It's like, I didn't see anybody doing what I was doing in the lane that I'm doing it in. So I just like, you know what, let me just create something on my own. And, with a little help, because like with, you can't do anything on your own. Or some of you may be, but if you really want quality shit, you bring people in to come in and help you with your projects. And that's what I have on my end. And that's what Maddie has on her end. We see her team of people, like I mentioned before, such as, Craig and Gigi and Oliver and all these other people that come on and they do the production, they do the audio, they do the visuals. And then we see at one point that the video goes out, and she flips out. And from what I heard is that it's a lot worse than what we see on TV. Like, any little thing that gets out of whack is she goes off, which I totally understand and I get, because a lot of times what I strive for when I do a lot of shows, I do it live. And to me, there's no bigger rush to doing it live, rather than when I watch a lot of videos, you see the choppy editing that goes in with what people say. What comes out of my mouth comes out of my mouth. It's all improv. Like, I take notes and I just say what I say. But at the end of the day, I feel like that to me works for me, because it's more authentic versus I got to do 5,000 takes so that way I don't offend nobody, or I don't say the wrong thing, or I stumble. If I stumble, I don't give a shit. Keep going. And I think that's something that I don't know if she's gotten to that place yet, where she can move beyond the mistake or the glitch or whatever the case is. But I get in my moments where I flip out, because there's been times when I do the show that you all watch on YouTube, and sometimes there's always technical issues, and I'm like, fuck, so where's the photo? Let's get to that clip, and why the clip isn't playing when I needed to. Like, it's all timing. And then you worry about, the people that are watching is going to be hating on you, or they don't have their shit together, or this, that, and the other. Sometimes things happen and it's beyond our control. The smart thing you can do is take that lemon and turn it into lemonade and just keep rolling with the punches. That's where the true profession comes in. When you bounce back from the mess and the mistake, and you can move on from what's happening and make it work in that context. So things happen. It is what it is. So one of the things also, wait, something happened? Oh, I was like, wait, I just saw everybody then. But anyway, so moving on. Like I said, with the banter, I love the fact that it sounds like, damn, I need something like that. Like in the apartment when the show is over, you have somebody there to make all that food. And Miss Mary, from what I hear, is like, if you over at the house, she's gonna make sure you ate. She makes a whole lot of food. She made enough food for 200 damn people, and it'd be a house of 5. And so, she's going to make sure you got a plate, and make sure that you take that plate to go, even if you already got a plate, and she's going to ask you 50 times if you've eaten. So I like people like that who, she's not just Maddie's mother, she's everybody's mother. So, and then one of the conversations that I particularly loved was, because I'm not going to do a whole breakdown of the show, I'm just going to give my overall assessment. I love the conversation with her and her daughter, where she talked about having a trans child. And to me, I felt like that was the most important conversation to have, because oftentimes, and this has kind of been a fear, that when you see Black queer representation on TV, there's a fear behind it, because you have a problem with people being gay, number one, if you're Black. You have a problem with trans people, because we continue to hear every year the overall amount of Black trans women that are murdered in this country. I don't know about abroad, but I'm talking about in the United States. So I love the fact that there was a conversation that Maddie and Miss Mary had, where she was like, you want us, at the end of the day, I may have lost a son, but I gained a daughter. And also, she said, I'm a mother first and I'm a Christian second. And I wish there were more people like that. And I think that this show is going to push boundaries. Say, hell what? Say, well, hell no. Oh, I love this picture. But anyway, so what I love about this conversation is the fact that I hope this opens a dialogue. Like if kids are watching this show or people who are going through, like if you're LGBT and you haven't come out to your parents, that, sit them down and have them watch this show. This to me is it feels like wholesome family entertainment. And I really feel like hopefully it opens the door for kids to have that conversation with their parents, and the parent be like, well, is there something you want to tell me? Or are you having these feelings and thoughts? And don't be so quick to kick your child out. Because I think a lot of people fear, number one, y'all get so wrapped up in religion, and then you worry too much about what your damn neighbors think or the people in the neighborhood think, when it's like, your child should be who's more important. Those are the people you should be focusing on. Fuck the person down the block. Fuck the relative. And they brought that up, that, the cousins and stuff with limp wrists and would make little side comments about Maddie being gay or whatever the case was, but he was going through a lot. And then I also love the fact that her mother said, you had no idea, like, the decision you made to leave the house and kind of go off and then tell nobody, how that affected me as a mother. But my child has left and was going through all these things and you didn't confide in me. So I think a lot of times we as people, when we're going through our own stuff, be it you're trans or even if you're gay, because I've had situations where I've been depressed and when I was coming up and I hid parts of myself and I didn't want to bring it up or talk about it and that sort of thing, is that I feared how other people would perceive it, or you didn't want to disappoint your parents, or you have a fear you're going to be kicked out of your home. Thank God when I was growing up, my parents, both of them, came around and accepted me for who I am, although it wasn't easy in the beginning. So I feel like, and this was like in the late 90s, early 2000s when I was, a teenager and stuff. So having those conversations, I feel like it's vitally important, and I hope this show changes that. Now, them talking about, dealing with homophobia and transphobia in our community is vitally important. Now, when they talked about the COVID-19 situation and they were out here, Allegra and Craig was out there looking for a spot for Maddie to do her residency. I honestly think that, COVID was a blessing in disguise, because if they did that residency, I do not feel like Maddie it would have been a success. Now, I love Maddie, like I've said, but I feel like her brand isn't big enough to do a residency. They already stated that, Craig's all about the money and making sure everybody eats and everybody's successful. Even Daniva, traveled with Maddie for a year doing the whole, where they would travel from city to city doing the Queen's Court. Damn cat, you better get out of here. The damn cat trying to get up under my... Okay, anyway, back to the show. My cat lost her mind. But, what was I saying? Okay, so they were able to travel around to city, and the people would come and see them because they knew this was a one-off type situation. Doing a residency is a huge risk, especially when you are not at the level of like a Britney Spears or maybe a Janet Jackson or a Madonna. Like, if I'm not saying that she's not a big enough star. Maddie is a star in her own right. But when you settle down and do a residency in Atlanta, people have this fickleness about them where they're like, you know what? I'm not feeling like going today. Oh, she'll be there tomorrow. I'm under the weather. I got to deal with the kids. Oh, I'll go the next day and the next day and the next day. And you putting it off, putting it off. And then what happens? You're losing money. People aren't showing up. You're having to pay more to stay afloat than you are trying to resonate coin, and you don't want to do that. So to me, I feel like keep traveling, do take more of like what they did with RuPaul's Drag Race and DragCon and so many of the other, what Brandon Voss and so many other promoters have done, where they travel from city to city with the queens, and so many other shows that we've seen and continue to see, but they travel from place to place to place. And then when you get to the point of when you get to a point where we in season 13 and you got like 8,000 different all-stars every week, and you got all these different reiterations of Drag Race, then you can go and say, you know what? Now we can settle and do a residency, which they managed to do in Vegas before COVID hit. So the timing was a bit off, but they finally were able to be at a place where we could do a residency and people could pop in Vegas and pretty much, because everybody loves drag queens. I mean, pretty much everybody loves drag queens. I can't say everybody because I know there's some people that don't like drag queens. I've gotten those messages. But I love drag queens and I love a drag show. I've loved them long before Drag Race even existed. So now, talking about the 19, I was glad that Maddie sat down and talked to Chi-Chi about the whole COVID-19 situation, because they were filming and then they saw like it was on the news and Miss Maddie was watching and Miss Mary was watching because, you know, she's got preconceived conditions, and she was freaking out about COVID and people coming in and out of the house, and Chi-Chi laying low and spreading it wide up in the club, you know, drinking and partying and this, that, and the other. And, you know, Atlanta, we've been hearing those stories about the risk of getting sick and COVID spreadations and all that stuff. So I like the fact that Maddie sat down and was like, you are my daughter and I love you, but I need you to be careful. And yeah, you need to be careful out here, because we're already hearing certain states like Texas and Florida and all these other places where they got morons or politicians who are willing to put their people at risk because I don't know why. They're just stupid. Like, I can't fathom getting my mind wrapped around this thing. But overall, I want to say I love the show. I'm looking forward to seeing more of the T.S. Madison experience. Definitely check it out when you guys get a chance. My only fear is that I want them to kind of stay this family. And I know they argue and they fight, but at the end of the day, like family, you should always come together and live on each other and love on each other. I don't want there to be a situation where, like what Tamar was saying about the Braxton family values, y'all came in with an idea in one way, and then the producers and people like WeTV had a different idea, and all of a sudden there's infighting, and then they know who they can come to start this mess with, and there's, you know, inner saboteurs that's happening, and the whole thing implodes, and then Maddie gets, you know, starts hiring new people and bringing them in, and it just becomes a mess. So with the success, just watch these vultures that want to come in and try to destroy your foundation that you've spent a lot of time building. So that's the only thing I'm afraid of. But I just hope that, you know, I wish her all the success in the world. And I'll definitely be watching the show as it continues. Now on to the next topic. Let's talk about Pose. So yesterday I woke up and the first thing I do when I get up is rise and shine. You know, the words of Kylie Jenner. I pop open the phone and I'm like, what's going on? What's trending? Like, I always check the internet to see what's going on in pop culture and entertainment, and who's been messaging me and all this other stuff. So the first message I got was Pose is been canceled. And I'm like, what? So season 3, and so I was like, oh my God, I got to get up. I got to do the research. I got to see what's going on. Turns out it was true. Variety, Deadline, all the main papers were reporting it. And I checked, and you know what? This is a goddamn travesty. So FX announced the news that the upcoming third season is going to be its last. The season premiere is going to be, well, it's actually going to be 7 episodes, which that's another thing that pissed me off. And it's going to premiere on May 2nd. I think they said 2 back-to-back episodes, and the series finale airs on June 6th. So we're basically getting a month's worth of, you know, stuff. And Brian Murphy said, we got to tell the exact story we wanted as we wanted to tell it, and I'm incredibly honored and grateful. Pose's story may end in 1996, but its impact will go on forever. And also wanted to say Pose has been one of the creative highlights of my entire career. From the very beginning, when Stephen Canals and I sat down to hear his vision and ideas for the show, it has been a passion project. To go from the beginning of my career in the late 90s, when it was nearly impossible to get an LGBTQ character on television, to Pose, which will go down in history for having the largest LGBTQ cast of all time, is a true full circle moment for me. And from what I hear, you know, they're saying the last season will be set in 1994, and Ballroom feels like a distant memory for Blanca, who struggles to balance being a mother with being a partner to her new love and her latest role as a nurse's aide. Meanwhile, Pray Tell, Billy, played by Billy Porter, contends with unexpected health burdens as AIDS becomes the leading cause of death for Americans ages 25 to 44. While in the balls, the emergence of a vicious new house forces the House of Evangelista members to contend with their legacy. So it's going to be messy, and I'm looking forward to it. What I'm actually hoping is that, I was kind of worried. Like, I understand. I'm wondering if COVID had anything to do with it, because we've been hearing that it's been hard for them to film those crowd sequences. I don't even know if they've even filmed a lot of the crowd sequences. I don't even know what's happening with that. So, they did say they haven't even got, from the last time I heard, they won't be able to film it and all this other stuff. So I'm really hoping that we can see them put this whole situation together in regards of the ballroom sequences. I definitely want to see the houses go up against each other. I definitely want to see what everybody's up to, particularly MJ's character, Blanca and everything. I know she got a new man. She's got new children. I want to see what the old children is up to. Like, what's Lil Poppy and Angel been up to? Because last we saw, they went overseas and she was pursuing modeling. And I want to definitely see what Ricky's up to, if he's still with Pray Tell. And I want to see if Miss Thing is still out there teaching the children how to vogue overseas. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what they're doing with this. This is bittersweet. I am pretty much sad that this show is only going to last 3 seasons. It's always sad when something so groundbreaking and featuring people of color, specifically 5 trans women of color, is part of an ensemble cast, and so many people that work behind the scenes that are trans and LGBT, or I should say, and how we get them all to, just seeing this thing happen. So I'm hoping that even though the show is disappearing, that we will see, Janet Mock and Stephen Canals include a lot of these characters from Pose and bring them in to the show. Well, their future shows, because they do have deals elsewhere. So I don't know what these shows are that they're planning on developing. But if it is queer-based, which I'm hoping it is, they will kind of recycle a lot of these actors, kind of like what Ryan Murphy does with a lot of his actors. So good luck to them. Speaking of which, I should probably tell y'all what Stephen Canals said. So Stephen Canal, he says, "Hey, Pose fam, we made the decision to end the show after 3 seasons because we reached the intended ending of our story. This experience has been life-changing. Thank you is too small a word, and yet it's what is in my heart. Hope to see you on May 2nd when we debut. Write the TV show you want to watch." That's what I was told in film school too. That's what I was told in 2014 when completing my MFA in screenwriting. At the time, we weren't seeing very many Black and Latino characters that happened to be LGBTQ+ populating screens, and so I wrote the first draft of a pilot the younger me deserved. Pose was conceived as a love letter to the underground New York ballroom community, to my beloved New York, to my queer and trans family, to myself. I, along with my incredible collaborators, never intended on changing the TV landscape. I simply wanted to tell an honest story about family, resilience, and love. How fortunate am I to have done that for 3 seasons? I'm filled with gratitude to our intrepid writers, cast, crew, and producers who worked tirelessly to make Pose come to life. Humbled by our loyal audience, thank you to the ballroom community who trusted us to tell their story, overwhelmed by the critics who warmly embraced us, and forever indebted to Ryan Murphy, FX, and 20th Century Television for changing my life. Well, honey, you changed our life. You changed my life as well, and many people who watch the show, and you've also opened the door to exposing people to a world that they were not familiar with. And that's why I feel like I loved Pose, because Pose resonated with me in a lot of ways where I saw people that I was familiar with and that I've been aware with, because I'm not someone who was a part of the ballroom scene. I never walked the ball, but I know many people who have walked balls and who are of the ballroom community. So seeing that world represented when I've seen the children voguing and stuff when I used to go to Esquilita on the weekends. And, those back in the days when we actually had, an urban Latin club and the warehouse and all these other places where you would see the children out here actually voguing and dipping it and doing it and all that other stuff. I miss those days of, seeing that, and just seeing that old New York on TV. It's just awesome to me. So shout out to the cast of Pose. I will miss the show, and, I'll keep watching old episodes. on Netflix. And like I've been doing, I'll pretty much be doing my, weekly reviews of the episodes when they come out. Because like I've done since season 1, I have reviewed polls, and I will continue to do it until the series finale. So I've got to keep it going. I was doing it quiet as it's kept, even when majority of the people who had jumped on the bandwagon after during the second season, I was out here doing reviews of polls long before y'all was even out here doing it. And all of a sudden, everybody all of a sudden discovered the show and wanted to jump on the bandwagon so they can get paid by YouTube. But nevertheless, it's an amazing show, and I will miss the cast and everything about it. So moving right along to our final topic is Drag Race. Some Drag Race news. So last night, because when I got home, there I think it's a 7-hour difference in Australia versus the United States. They revealed the cast of RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under. So the cast was revealed. It's going to feature 10 Aussie and Kiwi queens as they compete to be crowned Down Under's first drag superstar. So the report says, I cannot wait for everyone to see the Down Under queens have some of the biggest charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talents in the world. This is what Ru said in a statement announcing the series. Thank you, Stan and TVNZ On Demand, for providing a platform for these outrageous drag artists to share their heart, soul, and humor. Now, RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under will be hosted by Mama Ru, which is why she was down. If y'all were paying attention to social media, she was down in New Zealand, not Australia. She was down there for a month quarantining, and the rumors are that there's going to Kylie Minogue maybe making an appearance. I did hear some rumors that Eureka might be on the show because she on All Stars 5, but you ain't hear from me. Was it All Stars 6? Yeah, we're up to 6. Who else? Courtney Act might be making an appearance. So there's been rumors about the celebrity judges that will be appearing. I'm actually looking forward to this show. They did say that, so we only have one judge. I actually like this idea of having 3 judges. So it's Ru, Michelle, and comedian Reese Nicholson. I do like the idea of 3 judges, and then just have the 4th being a main judge. Because I don't know, I don't like the idea of when you have the revolving door of judges that comes in. Like, here we have Ross and Carson. So one week Ross premieres, next week Carson premieres, and then in the finale we have them both sitting on the panel. So I don't know. I don't like the whole revolving door. Just have one main, 3 main judges, and then just bring in a celebrity to be the 4th. So now the queens, there's only 2 queens in this show that I actually know. I'll get to the ones I'll let you know that I do know, that I'm aware of, that I'm excited for. So according to reports, Anita Wiglet from New Zealand. Then we have Art Simone from Australia. She's known as the reigning queen of Australia, I should say, and has played roles in Australian featured films, theatrical shows, and television programs, and commercials. Then we have Coco Jumbo, who has performed at Australia's Mardi Gras party main stage many times and is a multi-diva, as in Drag Industry Variety Award winner. So that's what diva stands for. And most prestigious entertainment of the year in 2017, and was Sydney's favorite showgirl in 2016 to 2019, and a rising star in 2015. So, these bitches are snatching trophies. Then we have Elektra Shock from New Zealand, who is a dancing queen from Tamaki Makaurau, runner-up on season 2 of TVNZ House of Drag, and star of Pleasure Dome the musical. Then we have Etc., who is a striking non-binary drag artist who is 22 years old and has made a splash within the Australian drag community for her aesthetic and activism. So we got, an activist on the show. And then we got Jojo Zaho, who started her drag career in 2015 as a political response to a council member stating that homosexuality is not part of the indigenous culture. So for her first annual Central West Pride March, she walked the parade in a costume she made with both the indigenous and gay pride flag, and she hasn't looked back since. She made a cameo in Get Crackin', competed in the inaugural Miss First Nation Indigenous Drag Queen pageant, the documentary Black Divas, and hosted a VIP party for the Newcastle leg of Cher's Australian tour. Now, the one I did hear of that's from Australia is the one and only Karen from Finance. Cameron from Finance, I've seen her at DragCon a few times. That's how I was familiar with it. And I was like, oh my God, that is such. When I first heard the name Cameron from Finance, I was like, oh my God, this is absolutely genius to call yourself Cameron from Finance. So, she's one of the original members of the award-winning cult queer cabaret Yummy and has built an international fan base, touring the world with her singular brand of office-themed character drag. At the beginning of the year, she was appointed as an ambassador for Drag Expo in Melbourne. She has appeared on DragCon she appeared at DragCon in LA in 2017, 18, and 19, in headlining performances as well as headlining shows all over America, including the Austin International Festival in Texas. Then we have ketamine, because it's ketamine, but the way they sound in New Zealand, you got ketamine, like courtney. Yes, we got the picture, bitch. So Keita started drag when she was dressed up for a New Year's Eve party, and wowed all her friends. Before long, she found herself in the thick of the nightlife, firmly making her mark on the Auckland scene. She, a few years later, she joined Anita Wiglet as a drag duo, where the two started a monthly event, which gave local Kiwi drag artists a platform to perform on a show called Drag Wars. Keita now owns the iconic Kaluzi Cabaret and Phoenix venue in Auckland and has since hosted 2 shows, TNVNZ's House of Drag, as well as maintaining her position as resident drag queen at Family Bar and Club. Okay, and let me see. I think I have one more. Wait, actually, we got a couple more. So I think we got 2 more. And then we also have Maxi Shield, who has been doing drag for 23 years and is noted for her work within the community, including Drag Story Time, where drag artists read stories to children. Harmonica Sunbeams does the same thing. We have the same thing here where we have Drag Queen Story Time. Yeah, and she also won Entertainer of the Year at the Drag Industry Variety Awards in 2015 and has been named Madonna's national hostess for her Australian Rebel Heart Tour and has closed both a straight Olympics in 2000 in Sydney and opened a gay one, which is the Gay Games in 2022. And last but certainly not least, we have Scarlett Adams, who is a burlesque performer, pole dancer, costume designer, and self-proclaimed party girl. Since she turned 18, Scarlett has worked tirelessly to build her reputation and brand as a drag artist. Only a year of doing drag, Scarlett won the prestigious title of Queen of the Court, Entertainer of the Year 2016 at the annual Proud Awards, and even took out the title for Miss Burlesque Western Australia in 2018, becoming not only the first drag queen to compete in Miss Burlesque Australia history, but to go on and win the title. Now, this is courtesy of New Now Next, who put all this together, so shout out to y'all for the history lesson, I should say. I'm excited for RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under. I'm looking forward to seeing how these girls compete and perform and how everything works out. Because you know what? Honestly, or I should say quiet as it's kept, I'm enjoying the European versions of Drag Race more so than the American one. Like, I'm living for Drag Race UK. That's like my favorite. Slightly over Drag Race Season 13. Like, I'm definitely looking forward to new episodes of and I feel like I'll be, of this, and I feel like I'm gonna be applying for my AARP card by the time, this season of Drag Race is done. Because I don't know how the fuck y'all drag this shit out for so long. But more drag variety shows on TV, and we're slowly getting that. So I don't know when Drag Race Down Under is gonna premiere, but sometime this year. And if you are in America, because we can't watch it on the networks over there, it is going to end up on Wow Presents Plus. So if you have that, you can definitely check that out. Now, before we go, I do want to say this. One of the things I wanted to point out, because I know you're saying we'll be right back. We are going to jump in and do another episode when it comes on. But one of the things I want to close out with is Lawrence Chaney, from the current season, because I'm talking about RuPaul's Drag Race UK. She deleted her Twitter because she's being bullied by fans. Now, if you saw this past Thursday's episode, I know things got heated in the workroom because, Ellie Diamond won the challenge and they were supposed to do a comedy episode, and she chose the order in which everybody was supposed to go. Ahura went first, which, spoiler alert, she got eliminated. And Lawrence Chaney, I guess, didn't like the order in which they went. And threw a whole temper tantrum about it. But she says the worst part was that, Diamond asked the queens for their thoughts and opinions when it was fairly clear that Diamond had made her decision. Now, my thing is, if you make a decision on in which order that you want the girls to go, then stick with the decision. It's strategy, it's TV, it's shady, it is what it is. Stick with it. But you throwing a temper tantrum, to me, it was a bunch of, it was just ridiculous. And while I was entertained by it and I was in my, I'm like, okay, Lawrence, calm the fuck down. It never took me to a point where I had to go and just be mean and bully somebody on social media because I have a life. Like, I don't have time to be going around throwing shade at people. Like, who has time to do that? I really don't understand a lot of you Drag Race fans that just go on social or so-called, because I don't know how you're a fan, but you just feel the need that you could sit behind your keyboard and just bully people and be mean and say negative shit and think it's perfectly okay when it's not. These are real people with real lives, and they bleed and they sweat and they cry and they have emotions like the rest of us. They're in a pressure cooker doing a show and you're just the viewer. So for you to sit there and just be negative and just say these things, like, to me, it's inappropriate and it's not right, or it's not nice. So, Chaney decided to delete her Twitter, and this is not the first time that this has happened. In 2020 alone, we have RuPaul, Michelle Visage, Jeffrey Boyer Chapman took steps, although the specifics of why Ru and Visage left, I should say, we don't know, because all we know is one day I woke up and I looked on their Twitter and basically they cleared out everything and just posted up a code. They even did it to their Instagram, I believe. Boyer Chapman deleted his Twitter and locked his Instagram comments after he got hate from fans. You had Widow Von Du and Britta Filter from season 12 have been on the front end of hate from fans. And now we have, beginning with All Stars 5, which say the show uncharacteristically began to call out this type of hate online. The queens have been going in and they've been fighting the good fight. I would like to hear RuPaul get up there and actually take a stand against bullying of the queens on the show. I mean, girl, this is your name on the marquee. These girls represent you. I was about to say that too. And let's not forget Sister from Drag Race UK has recently deleted her account because she's been going through it. This is what I say. Don't go on Twitter. Avoid Twitter because people are just disgusting. And if you have Instagram, only let people like your pictures. Don't even, you could write something on there. Don't even let people comment, because people are just negative. And I just don't understand how you have time to be up in here and bullying people when these are people and you know what? It's a TV show. And this is like what a lot of the queens said. So I love the fact that we have a lot of these drag queens on here, like Bimini Bamboo Lash basically said, this is a at Shady Lawrence fan account. And you all need to realize it isn't that deep. It's a television show. If you support me, please don't tear others down. Bag of Chips from season 1 of UK said, if you have contributed to the negativity towards Shady Lawrence to the point that she has had to delete this Twitter account, then you can go to hell, be kind, and do much better, little cow bags. Cheryl Hole said, guys, the fact that you trolls have made Lawrence Chaney delete her Twitter because of the abuse you've given her is disgusting. First sister, now this. It's a fun TV show. The world is already negative enough without you trolls making a fun show something negative. Do better. And last but certainly not least, Ellie Diamond, who was who Lawrence was fighting with in the episode, said, just remember, it's never okay to send someone hate or hateful comments. Be kind to others and keep your mouth closed. So I love the fact that, they spoke about it. And I feel like, well, excuse me. If Rue's not going to come out and talk about, which I think he should, like if my name was on the marquee and I'm running the show, we're going to all sit together. We're going to do a PSA, not that stupid PSA they did before, where they had all the queens coming and they said a bunch of dumb shit. It was, I remember, I did something. Remember when I don't remember what it was. It was just so dumb. I had to turn. I thought, oh, really? This is what y'all doing? But take a stand against bullying. It's never okay to bully people. I love Drag Race, but it's becoming increasingly difficult to like this show because there's so many people who ruin it, who sit there and watch it and just throw shade because, I don't know, y'all ain't got nothing else better to do with your life, so you out here bullying people you don't know? Because I guarantee you, if you showed up at DragCon That same energy y'all had on social media, you wouldn't have the balls to say it to these queens' face. You'd be the same one in that goddamn line waiting 25 to 45 minutes asking for a damn picture. The same haters. So on that note, thank you all for watching. I'll be posting more episodes on the line. This is supposed to be a short one. Hopefully, it's because I had to break stuff on down. Never fails. But anyway, love you all for watching. Be sure to click like, subscribe, leave your comments, all that good stuff. Once again, ciao, darling. She's talking a bit about what happened. If we don't, then I'll continue talking. Like I have the look how looking all glamour up in here. I talked a little bit about it. So she basically said that she had walked past a guy and the guy very aggressively asked for the time. She's explained the video, and after giving him the time, the man asked guy a girl. And so her friend went and said, "Fuck off, I'm walking. I'm hearing all this and it's happening like in a split second, and then all of a sudden the guy is attacking my friend." The guy proceeded to punch Cox's friend. She said she pulled out the phone to call 911 before she could place the call. The man took off. And the good thing about the whole situation is neither one of them were injured in the situation. But it's weird because what I had heard in the video was that she said that their masks were on. And my thing is, if you're wearing a wig and this, that, and the other, like you're glammed out, I don't know how her hair looked, whatever the case was, but if you got your locks flowing and you're walking and you're snatched for the gods and you're just walking, I don't think that based off somebody's voice or whatever, you could tell if someone is transgender for you to even come with that. So there was a little suspicion there in that whole story. But I do believe her and everything that's going on. It kind of had me wondering. I'm like, wait a minute. I mean, y'all let me know, because I've never been to Griffith Park. Is Griffith Park sort of a cruising location? Is it a cruising area like where situations happen and things of that nature, where y'all be out cruising to